Hi, my name's Cody and you're watching Lunch Ride. I have a little pile of scraps and some leftover boards from past projects that I've done, but I don't have enough and I didn't really want to build another ramp. I already have these ramps here, but I thought I might build something that I could use on its own or in conjunction with the ramps. So I'm gonna build a skinny for skinny practice. How hard can it be to build a frickin' skinny? It's a board and 2 blocks. You're right, there's really nothing to it, but what I want to do is show you some principles of construction that will help you build better skinnies, ramps, or whatever trail features you want to build. The thing about carpentry and construction is there's like 100 ways to do the same thing. And what I'm showing you might not be the only way, and it might not even be the best way. And what I'm doing might be considered overkill by some. But what I don't want to do is show you how to build something janky or dangerous. And like I said, what I hope you'll take away from this is some sound building techniques that will help you build better ramps and trail features of your own. I'll provide a link to the rough plans that I'm using here to build this, but a word of warning, since I'm using scraps and I'm kind of making it up as I go, the plans are just for reference. They're not detailed drawings. Starting from the ground up, I want the feet to be about 32 inches wide. This should give me enough stability. If it's not, I'll change it later. Now to support the plank, I'm going to use a couple 2x4s on end. I want the total height to be 16 inches. That actually matches the top of the ramps. So given that the foot here is 1.5 inches and the plank itself will be 1.5 inches, I'm going to cut these to 13 inches and that will give us our total of 16. Okay, so actually this 2x8 is 7 1/8 inch wide, and I want to center that on the feet. So what I'm going to do is find the center of the foot, which is 16 inches, and divide 7 1/8 in 2, which would be 3.5 plus a 16th, 3 9/16. And I'm going to measure over 3 9/16 this way. 1, 2, 3, 9/16. 1, 2, 3, and 9/16 the other way. And then I'm going to measure the distance between the two, ensuring that I've got 7 1/8. So this line here is where the outside of these vertical pieces are going to sit. And I'll screw them in from the bottom. All right, pretend this is our skinny. It's going to sit up here like this. Okay, here's the thing that any ramp builder should know. Rectangles or parallelograms like this, it's a weak structure. It will do really well under compression as long as that force is straight down. However, if there's any lateral movement in the downward force, like when I get on that plank and start wiggling around trying to keep my balance, this will fail. It will tilt right over. To keep this from happening, I'm going to add a simple cross brace. And like I said, rectangles, parallelograms are weak, but triangles are really strong. And the reason being, when there's a lateral force pushing this way, this piece becomes under tension, meaning it's pulling apart, putting this piece into compression and this piece into compression, keeping the whole structure in shape. Now we could put a cross piece that just bridges these two and locks them in parallel, but what we could also do is extend that piece down to this foot. That way it would create 2 triangles, one here and one here, making it all really stable. Now what I want to do to make this easy, I'm going to put a board here, put it where I want it, and then I'm going to take my pencil and mark the underside, make those cuts, and it will fit perfectly. screw it into the base here, making sure that that's a right angle. And then driving a screw in part way, I will make sure that they're properly spaced at the top and put a screw in here. Now these are all locked in place. Okay, I can hear a lot of you saying, you don't have to do that. You can do it like this, or you can do it like this. There's much simpler ways to do this. Yes, of course, that's what I was saying. There's 100 ways to do this. This is just one of the ways. Let me show you another way. So check this out. What I'm saying is we don't have to add a diagonal brace like this. We can actually put in a block like this. There's no diagonal cuts to make, and it's just a lot more simple. But what I'm saying here is the reason that this makes the stand more stable is because we're still adding triangles to it. They're just not as obvious. See, by attaching the board here and with these 4 screws, look what happens. If there's lateral force this way, this piece becomes under tension, this piece is in compression, and so is this one. But if I add more screws and more points of contact, more triangles there will be, and the stronger it will become. Now, the way that we build skinnies using boards flat like this is really using the material in its weakest orientation. We get a lot of what is known as deflection. Deflection being the amount a structural member is displaced while under load, also known as a case of bouncy boards. At the very least, this can be a little unnerving or at least disorienting, or at most, it could crack and cause injury. To combat this, we could add a support mid-span, but I want to show you something different. Like I said, this is the board in its weakest orientation. This is the strongest, but I can't ride this. So even a much smaller board, like a 2x4, is much stronger in this orientation. So we're going to combine them and make what is called a strong back. See, it's going to go underneath here like this, so we won't be riding on it. It doesn't even have to go from end to end either. We just covered the middle half of it. That will be substantially stronger. Maybe an extra one just to hold it in. Ta-da. Zero deflection. So now I'm going to attach the plank to the feet. So now we got the top on, but there's one problem. I've kind of made another parallelogram with the right angles on this and this without any kind of support. If I hit it really hard, say I jump onto this thing and case it, this thing could actually collapse this way. The only thing that's holding that together are a few screws. So I'm going to put in some more triangles. Triangle here, I'm going to attach on the inside there and right there. Do a quick measurement. Actually, I can just scab this on here. It doesn't have to be real pretty. That is really all you need. So let's do that on both ends. There, now you know how to make a park bench. Well, my name's Cody and you're watching Lunch Ride. If you want to see more videos like this, click on the playlist that says build. You can see me build a manual machine and this ramp. If you like this video, if you thought it was helpful, hit like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Until next time.